So far, we doing all right? A little bit of a cool down from that intense warm up earlier. All right, everybody's happy. I love it. We're going to move on to our first stance now in Taekwondo. In I think karate they call it a horse stance because it looks like you're riding a big fat horse. Everything in Taekwondo we measure off of our bodies, and everyone's body is a different size. So again, it's measured off of your body style, your body type, your shoulder distance most specifically. So from here, I want you to move, again, I'm mirroring you, your right foot, if right now you're staying at your parallel stance, which is shoulder distance, I want you to move half a shoulder width more with your right foot. Very easy, very, very natural. I'm moving back just so you can see me. In our art, we have grandmasters that have been doing this 45 plus years. So it has taken a toll on their body, one would think, but they're able to do these jumping and spinning kicks, and they're able to have this flexibility that is often never seen in other arts because it wasn't very natural on the body. In karate, they do very low stances that in time, if you don't take your recovery seriously, will end up taking a toll on you. But in Taekwondo, it should be very natural on your body. So again, 1.5 shoulder distance measured off of your shoulders. Let's put our right arm up back in that punch, left hand on our hip. Now, our knees should be bent directly over our toes. Back up in a straight line, chest forward. Remember, when we do our punches, we're not turning. We're not going to give away what our next steps are. So from here, right arm up, bend, fist comes to wrist. I bent just a little bit more. My knees can go a little bit more over my toes. My punching arm is still relaxed. I come up, not on my tiptoes. I don't want to lose stability. When I come up, I'm just relaxing my knees to the up position, and now I fall back down and block. Again, so that's bend, circle, bring this hand up nice and high, fall and punch. Every time I count now. We can go your own pace. If you want to go at a black belt pace, that's okay. If you want to slow it down, really work on that foundation, stay with me. Ready? 1, 2, trying to punch right under our chin, center of our body. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Good. Now, let's go to our backwards motion for our low blocks. Let's put our right arm across our body, left hand on top, 2 ugly watches. I'm standing upright. I can't naturally go any higher, so now I fall and block. Center. Backwards on the other side, left hand across the body, right hand on top. One shoulder should already be a little bit lower. Fall and block. Notice my belly button now is at that 45. Center, backwards, block. Center, backwards, block. Look at my knees, still pointed forward. Every time I count, ready? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And relax. Shake those legs out. Shake those arms out. Neck circles. Stand nice and loose, nice and warm. Now, for my favorite drills. It's called the sine wave drills. I do these. Sorry, I'm fixing my uniform a little bit. I do these before every competition. Hi, Luciano. You've actually seen me do these in Australia. I do my warm-up drills before every competition, before every pattern. It's how I wake up my body to learn, okay, this is how we're going to move forward with all of our body weight in the most beautiful and efficient way. So from here, our second stance in Taekwondo is called a walking stance. I'm trying not to use Korean terminology too much because I'm not sure how many people use the great terminologies in their classes, and I don't want to get the hate mail saying that I'm saying everything wrong. So we're going to start with our walking stance. Start with your left foot. A walking stance is a shoulder distance wide and 1.5 shoulders long. So just like our sitting stance was a shoulder and a half, our walking stance will be a shoulder, even with your shoulders, and now your front foot, a 1/2 shoulder more, even with our shoulders, not on the inside like we're trying to walk a tightrope, because then we'll have no stability with our techniques. Make sure it's nice and even with our shoulders. My front knee is bent behind my ankle, not over, because that's going to put a lot of tension on the top of my kneecap here. Nice and relaxed. Nice and bent behind the knee. So front knee bent. My back leg is locked. Usually I have someone helping me demonstrate, or I have someone bounce on the back of my leg to show you that it needs to stay locked. If it's bent, you're going to have less stability and less being able to drive forward. So front knee bent, back leg locked, shoulders square, belly button's pointing forward, square facing just like that, both feet pointing forward, and what I call our train tracks, again, shoulder distance. So 5 things. This is what I tell my little guys, my little itty bitty 4-year-olds. They repeat after me. They say front knee bent, back leg locked, shoulders square, both feet point forward, train tracks. Now, this should feel comfortable. If it feels uncomfortable, something is wrong. It's one thing to have to train your muscles to hold in that isolated position, but if you feel that there's too much tension somewhere, relax it a little bit more. Taekwondo should never ever feel too uncomfortable in the body that it's unbearable. So for the first sine wave drill, what I'm gonna do, sorry, I'm moving side to side, I'm gonna push forward just a little bit. As you can see, my knee is directly over my toes in a straight line. My back heel is about 2 inches off the floor. And when I do that, my head drops. You see that? Then I come up, so my leg is now locked. I can't naturally go up any higher. What goes up must what? Come back down. Nice and easy. Again, we're always using our body's natural principles of physics to move us through our techniques. Nothing should ever feel unnatural. I don't think there's anything more natural in the world than physics. So, when I say push, don't just drop. A lot of people confuse that. We want to push towards our opponent, not just down. So, push forward. Again, my back heel should be 2 inches off the floor, front knee over my toes, up. My back heel is off the floor as high as it can go. My front knee is locked, fall and drop. Now this shouldn't look so robotic. That doesn't look very beautiful or natural, does it? So from here, nice and easy motion. Watch my arms. What are they doing? Whatever they want. Nice and relaxed. So follow along with me. Let's get in our walking stances. Every time I count, we're going to push forward, up, then back down. Kind of like a teardrop shape. Ready? 1, and exhale. 2. My front heel should always stay on the floor. Just watch my feet. 3. 4. 5. For my yellow belts and above, this should kind of look like Dangun. 6. For my green tags, Dosan. 7. 8. 9. 10. And let's switch sides. Ready? Right foot in front now. Again, shoulder and 1/2 distance long, shoulder and shoulder distance wide, measured from our big toe to our big toe. Ready? Phase 1. 1, push forward, rock up and back down. Let those hands relax. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Very nice. Shake those feet out. Any questions so far? Are we good? Wonderful. Okay, time for phase 2. Time to move forward with our technique. Now, if you can see my feet, they're going to come up to this same line. One's not going to go farther than the other. They're going to come to the same line, that same bending motion, that same pushing motion. Now I'm going to let it continue up. Look at my toes, they're on the same line. But look, one foot is not touching the floor. I'm naturally as high as I can go without going on my ball of foot where I would lose my stability and my balance. So from here, my front heel and my toes stay locked on the floor. Push forward, up, 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 don't stop, don't stop, don't stop, and then come back down. Again, always going back to physics, an object in motion stays in motion. So once we move, we don't stop that technique until it's finished. We wouldn't go drop forward, wait, push up, wait, and then drop back down. It would kill our momentum. So from here, an object in motion stays in motion. Let's work on that together. Hands down, nice and relaxed. 10 times each side. Ready? 1, push forward, up, then back. Very nice. 2, 3. No power, no speed, just nice and relaxed. 4, 5, 6, 7. I'm still breathing, so should you. 8, 9, 10. And switch feet. That was my right foot, so now I'm going with my left foot. Notice I'm not rocking to one side or the other when I come up. If you feel you're having that problem, try and keep your weight on the ball of the foot. Here, this part of the foot, closer to your big toe. Focus on keeping your balance there so you have what's called a center of gravity. Ready? Front knee bent, back leg locked, shoulder square, both feet point forward, and I'm on my train tracks. 1, push forward, up, then back. 2, toes the same line. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, hands nice and relaxed. 9, 10. Very good. Remember, everything starts in Taekwondo with a relaxed motion. This is our relaxed motion. We begin to rise, and for that instance, we come back. We good so far? Wonderful. So now we're going to move all the way forward. Let's put our right foot in front again, our walking stance. We're going to push up to center. Remember this? We're not outside of our body. We're into center. I'm at my highest point that I can go, so now I let it go in front to my walking stance. Now we're really working on that wave. So from here, follow with me. Right foot in front, push, up to center, out to shoulder. Sorry, I'm trying to stay in the frame here. Out to shoulder. So one more time. Let's reset. Push, up to center, out to shoulder. And you should see my head start to dip up and then back down. You see that? That kind of motion. Bend up, down. One more time, pushing forward. Go ahead. Now, for those of you that know Chunji or have done ITF Taekwondo before, everything starts with a backwards motion. But what if we have to go backwards? So from here, where would my head drop? Do I just push off and then go backwards? Everything has to start with a down, right? Relax and down. So look at what my knees are doing. I'm switching the knees that are bent. So watch, as I switch the knees are bent, see how my head drops just slightly. My back heel is coming off the floor about an inch, really loading up on this quad. The last thing to leave the floor should be my front toes. Come back up to center and then back out to shoulder. This is where we really start to work on those fine details in between the techniques. Remember I said we're gonna start to move like a champion? Anyone can teach you technique. There's no one art that owns a block or a punch or a front kick. We may all call it different things, but it's all to deal the same amount of damage. But this makes it so we can attack with our body weight and not just the weight of our legs or our arms. So again, I have to move backwards. So I have to switch the knees that are bent, my head dips, I come up, and then I rock back. So let's do that together. Right foot in front, bend, or push I should say, up to center, out to shoulder. Now from here, pull in the front knee, push out the back knee. People ever watch Elvis? This is what he did, by the way, for those Elvis fans like me and Mrs. Petite out there. From here, bend, push up. The last thing to leave the floor should be your toes. I'm coming back under my center and then back out to my shoulder. Ready? Number 2. Every time I say 1, we're gonna move forward. When I say 2, we'll move back. Ready? 1. Nice and relaxed, look at my arms. Now take this part slow. 2, bend, push up, then fall back. Very nice. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Let's go and switch our feet. Same thing, both sides of the body for equal muscle development. Also left brain, right brain thing. Ready? 1, push up to center, out to shoulder. 2, switch the legs that are bent. You see my heel coming up, you see my head drop, push up to center, out to shoulder. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1. Watch my front foot, it always stays on the floor. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Now, let's switch our feet again. Front hand up and a punch. When we go forward, we're going to step and punch. When we go backwards, we're going to add the hands in now. See the hand-eye coordination working? Here, this way, center, backwards, block. Ready? So actually, let's start with our right foot in front, low block actually. Let's start here. Stepping forward and punch. Take your time. If you're more advanced, go ahead and step into that technique with full power and speed. If you're just beginning, let's work on that motion with me. Let's work on that foundation. Ready? 1, push forward. 2, bring those hands in. Bend, backwards, block. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and let's switch feet. Left foot in front, left hand down to low block. Remember, 1 is punch, 2 is block. 1, trying to move so you can see me. And again, remember, as my knees bend, my hands come to center. 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, and relax. For those of you in ITF Taekwondo, did that look like Sajujurugi? It should have. That was 4-direction punch. So you can adapt the patterns with a lack of space. There's always a way to work. There's always, when there's a will, there's a way. So now, I'm running a little bit short on time. We're gonna do what's called patterns Tai Chi style. Grandmaster Lan introduced this to me. I really consider it the reason for my success in 2017 in Ireland, because as Conor McGregor said, it gave me a chance to update the software without damaging the hardware. So it gave me a chance to really fine tune all of those small details in my patterns without putting the extra strain that I was already doing with my 3 times a day training. So from here, we're gonna do, if you know Chun-Ji, stick with Chun-Ji. If you have the room to do a black belt pattern, do your black belt pattern. If you're just beginning with me for the first day, we're just gonna stick with 10 times each side, stepping forward, stepping back. That's 1. Stepping forward, stepping back. We're gonna do 10 times each side. Otherwise, if you know an ITF pattern, let's do an ITF pattern. But we're gonna start with just the feet, no hands. So nice and relaxed, we're really gonna work on that sine wave. I'm gonna start with Chun-Ji. So from here, no hands. If you just, today's your first day, we're gonna step forward and back, reviewing that sine wave 10 times each leg. Ready? For those in ITF Taekwondo, Chun-Bi, and begin. Nice and slow. See the speed that I am going? I could be doing this in the park with, let's say, a bunch of old women watching. And with the speed that I'm going and the way that I'm moving my body, they should be able to jump in with me without putting any strain on their bodies. You see how we're just emphasizing the movement of how we get from one technique to another? That's it, nice and easy. Now, something else I describe to all of my students is that if you were to take an ITF black belt and an ITF color belt out of competition, relax, and do just that, let's say Chun-Ji with their eyes closed, no hands, just focusing on themselves, I should be able to tell out of uniform who's the black belt and who's the colored belt just by the way that they move. Does that make sense? Because if you think about it, some of the best fighters you know, yes, they're fast, they're strong, they have incredible cardio and intellect when it comes to fighting, but odds are it's also the way that they move that you really like too. And I think that's one of the biggest details that separates thank you. I think it's one of the most important details that separates a experienced fighter from a beginning fighter, even in patterns, is how do they move. Hey guys, sorry I lost you there for a second. Sorry I lost you guys there for a second. Thank you for joining me back up. I'm so glad to see you. I held your guys' attention. Thank you for coming back. I was worried people wouldn't. Thank you guys. It means the world to me. So getting back to what I was saying before, it's really the movement, I feel, that is what separates our art from the other arts around the world. Is we move in a way that is, we think about moving in a way that's beautiful and proficient. So now, moving on to our next phase of patterns is Tai Chi with just a little bit of acceleration. Now the difference between speed and acceleration, speed is constant. It's always that speed. But when it's acceleration, it's how fast can you go from 0 to 60? How quickly? Now, if you can't tell, I'm a big Conor McGregor fan, and he has a tattoo, it's also on his whiskey bottles, that say slow is smooth and smooth is fast. Think about punching if you're flexed and you're tight. Right here. Tighten your muscles and now try and punch as fast as you can. Go. If your hands aren't shaking, it's not tight enough. See my head? See how hard I'm squeezing? Go. Now relax. Loosen up the arms, loosen up the neck. Punch as fast as you can. And again. Much faster that time because you're allowing your muscles to relax and then tighten at the moment of impact. So we're going to do our patterns one more time. We're actually going to do them 4, but this is halfway now. From here, again, if you're just starting Taekwondo, nice and easy, Tai Chi style. Forward, and then back. We'll do 10 times each side, but we're going to accelerate just a little bit now. So if you're following with me for Chunji, it should look something like this. Just a little bit faster, a touch faster. Ready? Remember, if you're new, 10 times each side. Or if you're not so new, any pattern you want. As long as you have the room. See, jump. Still slow, still Tai Chi. Just accelerating those movements a little bit faster. More of a realistic speed for what we would see in our ITF competitions or our traditional practice. Still working on the beauty of that technique. Still working on how do we get from point A to point B in a way that's most efficient and pleasing to the eye, because this is martial arts after all. Otherwise, they would just call it violence. There has to be the art side of it to make it beautiful. Now let's work on that backwards motion. See this? Watch my head dip. Very nice. Just making sure I'm not eating into anybody else's time. All right, 5 minutes, I got it, thank you. All right, now we're gonna add just a small flex at the end. I don't have very much muscles, but you see, it flexes for just a second, then relax. So from here, we see how we're warming up our bodies now? We worked on the sine wave, acceleration. Now we're telling our bodies at the very end, this is where the impact needs to be, and then we relax onto that next movement, so we have freedom and mobility within our joints. Ready? Number 3. Flex at the end of each movement, and hold it there for about a second, and then move on. See, jump, or begin. And flex and relax. Flex and relax. So now, again, we're waking up that connection between the brain and the body of self-control. We tell our bodies what we will do, not it tells us, not the other way around. This is where our muscle development and self-control comes into play for our patterns. Remember, flexing at the end, just slightly of every technique, and then relax. Good, for our last time through, now you'll do it normal speed, normal power. That doesn't mean rushing through it. That isn't very beautiful. It's fun and it's silly, but it's not beautiful. We're trying to make our patterns beautiful. So let's add all of those components now. Our sine wave, our acceleration, and our power just at the end of the technique while still focusing on that beautiful movement. Last time, chumbi, or ready position. And begin. Chenji. Better. All right, and relax. What did everybody think of that? Easy to follow, everybody get it? I do those 4 drills, Tai Chi acceleration, Tai Chi plus a flex, and then normal. I will do that for every pattern before my competitions. So all in all, it could take me about an hour to warm up. Try that at your next events, and I think you'll see that your mind-body connection will be more awake for your pattern competition, and you'll see that there's going to be a big difference in that movement and how beautiful your patterns look. Thank you guys for joining me. I appreciate it so much. Yeah, I mean, I know quarantine is hard, but when there's a will, there's a way. If you want to train, you'll find a way to get it done. If it's a priority, find a way. I'm here to help. Message me anytime on Instagram. If you have any questions about what we did today, you want any more clarifications, do you want me to look at your patterns, please send them to me. It helps keep me sharp. So yeah, thank you guys for joining me today. I appreciate it so much. Stick around for all the other speakers that are going to be here today. It's going to be other ITF representatives like Mr. Luciano Urate, Mr. Carl Van Roon, you know, us. We're the ITF guys. But not only us, there's going to be amazing talent from all over the world. Please stick around and watch. Thank you guys for training with me. Thank you, Mira. I appreciate that. Thank you, Luciano. I appreciate that. Hopefully I see you guys at the World Cup. For those of you I don't know, I hope to meet you soon. And yeah, you guys have a good day. Make sure to jump back over to Taekwondo Worldwide. I'm going to hang out here just for a few more minutes to see if he wants to jump back on, have any last parting words. Good morning, Master Palazzo. Thank you for joining us. So yeah, make sure that if you guys want to follow any other of the videos today, jump over to Taekwondo Worldwide's page. They'll have a short introduction with each instructor like they did with me this morning, and then you can go ahead and follow them over to their pages, and they're going to be hosting their little watch parties on their own. All right, well, it's 7:30 on my clock. I don't want to make you guys wait, so go ahead and jump over to Taekwondo Worldwide, and I'll catch up with you guys in a bit. Thank you again for joining. Have a good day, guys. See you later.